Yeah, episode 8 and 9. In retrospect, I'm not really sure what this whole beginning scene before the intro is about. I think I probably could have cut out all of this stuff without really losing much. There are no jokes here, nothing happens. I guess I introduced this guy, but I don't know. I think I had this idea that this episode was going to come up short on running time, but as I look at it now, it's 7 minutes long. That was only like, 20 seconds there? Could have lost it easily, and the whole thing would have started out much snappier, but oh well, what are you going to do? Don't know what I would have done before the opening. Might have actually just opened with the opening instead of doing a cold open for once. That would have been a change. But this scene is obviously a lot of people's favorites, definitely one of my favorites too. Because I think it's funny because it's something that lots of guys can relate to. Everybody's been in this situation where it's like, no! Don't be into my friend, be into me! Damn it! So that's very relatable right from the get-go. And then, of course, there's this, the talking junk, or TJ, as I like to call him. Because, this came about because, obviously, later in the scene, Kurono finally just snaps and finally just crosses the line and essentially sexually assaults Kishimoto, which is fucked up. And it's a funny scene, but it's so dark and so black, and I wanted to make sure, I didn't want to cut it out altogether, but I needed to find a way to do it and yet still have Kurono at least be somewhat sympathetic. I didn't want to just lose the audience altogether. And then so as I do when I'm stumped, I was just, watching the episode, waiting for inspiration to strike, and then I noticed this little, quick little shot where the bulge in his pants moves, which I'd totally forgotten about because it's not in the manga. It's a filler scene for the anime. And the whole rest of the scene just wrote itself instantly right there. As I've mentioned before, I definitely do have my qualms about using a very stereotypical black voice as the voice of TJ. But on the other hand, you've got to think of it in terms of what's in character and what makes sense. Because whether you and I might agree with using a stereotypical black voice as the voice of a talking penis, I think it's pretty hard to deny that that is the voice that Kurono would hear in his head if he started hearing his junk talking to him. Also notice that I very specifically did not use the echo effect for the talking junk's voice that I use for internal monologue. Because I kind of like the idea that Kurono doesn't hear it as like a thought or an internal monologue. He hears it as clear as you're hearing me talk to you right now. Like literally another voice in the room. But yeah, I think most guys definitely have had experiences like that where it literally is like another, like having multiple personalities disorder, where you know that it's a bad idea. You know that whatever you're thinking of doing is totally fucked up and would be the worst mistake you would ever make. And yet there's this little voice in your head saying, no, dude, it's cool. She'll totally be into it. You're totally gonna get some. If you just grab her tits out of nowhere. Most of us who've managed to not get thrown in jail have learned to ignore that little voice. So what else we got in this episode? Joe Salaryman a second ago there, that was fun. A little Bugs Bunny here. Gotta pay homage to the classics, and it doesn't get much more classic than Bugs Bunny. This guy, this thug here, who I'm sure he had a name, but whatever, fuck it. Red-haired thug. His voice changes more than a bit over the course of the thing, because it started to slide a little too close to my Guts voice, so I tossed a little southern accent into it to switch that up a little. This was another one of my very favorite scenes, where Kurono forgets his suit. Poor Kurono. Nishi is fun in this whole episode. It's good stuff. Would carry your luggage for you. Why? Because he's such a nice guy. Sorry, I just had my coffee today, so I'm laughing at my own shit more than I usually do. And this, of course, was just a matter of holy crap, this is the exact same scene from the first episode. How do I handle this? So the obvious answer was to point it out. These scenes in the Gantz room were really tough to edit because they seem really simple. It's all dialogue, so it should be totally easy, right? But it's actually kind of complicated because people are constantly moving from the main room to the hallway and back, and they're constantly, changing from, the Gantz, from their regular street clothes to the Gantz suit and back again. So it took a lot of work to figure out, okay, how is this going to progress? Which shots can I use so that I don't have, somebody suddenly switching back from the Gantz suit to their street clothes and then back to the Gantz suit again? I really had to try hard to maintain that flow and continuity in the scene. And I think the effort was worth it. I think that you might not notice it consciously, but I think that little extra bit of polish does really help.
You killed him! You're a murderer!
Oh,
shut the fuck up, hypocrite.
This is another scene that was hewed very close to the original, where Nishi just goes off on everybody in the room, where he finally gets sick of being just the quiet guy in the corner, just quietly laughing at all the stupid people, and decides to just go into full-out troll mode. Nishi gets a little stupid as he gets close to 100 points. He gets a little overeager and pays dearly for it. I guess that sound clip was from Rugrats, which I had absolutely no idea about. I literally just did a Google search for, small child crying .wave or something like that, because I didn't think I could do a good job of it myself.
What did he say?
And this is definitely another one of my very, very favorites. I love the idea that Light would actually call him up and say, "Hey, dude, this guy stole my character design. Can you talk to him about that?" So, big thanks to Dirty Dan from Team Data Bio for doing that voice for me. All right, see y'all next time.